September 1961. The Cold War simmered, civil rights stirred, and the American dream hummed along, mostly undisturbed. But on a quiet stretch of New Hampshire highway, a different kind of chill was about to descend. A chill that would rewrite the rulebook on what we thought we knew about the dark and what might be waiting in it. This is the story of Betty and Barney Hill, and the night their journey was interrupted. Betty and Barney Hill weren't your average couple. Betty, a social worker with a degree from the University of New Hampshire. Barney, a postal worker, a World War II veteran, and a man deeply involved in the burgeoning civil rights movement, serving on a local board of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. They were pillars of their Portsmouth, New Hampshire community, and in the early 60s, as an interracial couple, they were already navigating a world that often looked at them differently. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could prepare them for what they were about to encounter on their drive home from a belated honeymoon in Montreal. It was the night of September 19, 1961. Around 10:30 p.m., as they drove south of Lancaster, New Hampshire, Betty spotted it. A bright point of light in the sky. She thought it was a falling star, but it moved upward. Barney, ever the pragmatist, dismissed it as a satellite or a plane. But the light, it wasn't behaving like any aircraft he knew. It was erratic. It was following them. Curiosity, or perhaps a primal instinct, compelled them to pull over. Betty, looking through binoculars, saw it clearly, a spinning, oddly shaped object. A flying saucer, she thought. Barney, a man of logic, felt his skepticism crumble. The silent, illuminated craft descended, hovering just 80 to 100 feet above their car, filling the entire windshield. Barney, armed with his pistol, stepped out for a closer look. Through his binoculars, he claimed to see between 8 and 11 humanoid figures peering out of the craft's windows, observing him. They wore glossy black uniforms and caps. A wave of intense, paralyzing fear washed over him, fear of capture. He scrambled back to the car, terrified. As they sped away, a strange beeping sound filled the air. Then, a daze, a blank. When they seemingly awoke, they were miles down the road, inexplicably outside Concord, New Hampshire. The trip, which should have taken a few hours, had taken approximately 2 hours longer. 2 hours of their lives simply gone. This missing time would become the chilling hallmark of their story and countless others to follow. They arrived home around 5:15 a.m., disoriented, confused. The physical evidence began to surface. Betty's new dress, worn only once before, was torn at the hem, zipper, and lining. Later, she'd find a pinkish powder on it. Barney's best dress shoes were scuffed, his binocular strap broken. Both their watches had stopped. And on their car's trunk, shiny concentric circles that hadn't been there the day before. A compass, brought near these marks, would spin wildly. Neither could explain how any of it happened. Initially, they kept quiet, fearing ridicule. But the missing time, the physical anomalies, the gnawing anxiety, they needed answers. Betty, driven, spent hours researching the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, NICAP, and even filed a report with the U.S. Air Force. On October 20, just a month after the incident, NICAP astronomer Walter N. Webb conducted a 6-hour interview. Barney admitted to a mental block, a suspicion that parts of the event were simply too terrifying to recall. Webb, a seasoned investigator, concluded the Hills were truthful, that the incident probably occurred exactly as reported. Then, the dreams began. 10 days after the encounter, Betty started having vivid, intensely detailed nightmares, night after night. Dreams of being stopped, taken aboard a craft, subjected to strange medical examinations. These dreams were a window into a terrifying possibility, a possibility Barney himself would soon confront. The nightmares, the anxiety, Barney's worsening ulcers and high blood pressure, the Hills were suffering. Their search for relief led them to Dr. Benjamin Simon, a distinguished Boston psychiatrist and neurologist. Dr. Simon was no charlatan. He was renowned for his expertise in therapeutic hypnosis, having used it extensively with military personnel during World War II. He didn't believe in UFOs, but he believed in healing his patients. Over several months in 1964, Dr. Simon conducted individual psychotherapy sessions, including time regression under hypnosis. Their words, their raw, terrifying recollections, were meticulously tape recorded.
I want to wake up.
You're not going to wake up. You're in a deep sleep. You're comfortable, relaxed. This is not going to trouble you. Go on. You can remember everything now.
It's right over my right. God. What is it? And I try to maintain control so Betty cannot tell I am scared. God, I'm scared.
It's all right. You can go right on. Experience it. It will not hurt you now.
I got to get my gun. Oh!
All right. All right. That's all.
I gotta get my gun!
Go to sleep, Steve. You let's get it now.
Oh,
You
Lord.
forget it now. You've forgotten it.
Under hypnosis, Barney recounted a fragmented, terrifying experience. He described the object as a large, pancake-shaped craft with curved windows and figures within. 11. He felt an unspoken command, an irresistible compulsion to observe. He recalled being forced to pull off the road, into the woods where 6 men appeared, 3 approaching their car. But it was their eyes that haunted him. Oh, those eyes! They're there in my brain, he stated, feeling them pushed into my eyes, a terrifying, mesmerizing effect. He heard them speaking in a mumbling language, but understood through thought transference or telepathy. He even recalled a cup-like device placed over his genitals, which he believed was for sperm extraction. Betty's hypnotic account was strikingly similar to her earlier dreams. She described being forced by 2 small men to walk in the forest, Barney seemingly in a trance behind her.
We're driving along. I don't know where we are. I don't even know how we got here. Barney and I, we've been driving, and I don't know how long, and we haven't even been talking. I just been sitting here feeling that something's going to happen. And I'm not really too afraid. Except right now I am. At that time I didn't feel afraid.
Why are you crying if you're not afraid?
I'm afraid now, but I wasn't.
Oh,
I don't. I wasn't afraid. I was afraid when I saw the men in the road.
Men in the road.
I've never been so afraid in my life.
Tell me about the men in the road. It's all right now. You're safe here. Tell me about the men in the road.
We're driving along. We're on a tarred road. And all of a sudden, without any warning or any reason or rhyme or anything, Barney made he almost, the brakes, I think he was squealed. He stopped so suddenly and made this sharp left-hand turn to the highway. And we went onto this narrow road. I was wondering about what he was doing down here, but he wasn't saying anything, and I wasn't. I figured, well, maybe we're lost, but so what? We'll come out somewhere. And we're going along, and there was a sharp curve in the road, and as we went around the curve, there were trees. There were a lot of tall trees on my side. I don't know about Barney's side of the road, but there was these men standing in the highway. And I wasn't too afraid when I saw them. They were standing there. And I thought, well, you know, there was cell phone. There was, I don't know. And they were just, you couldn't get a good look at them. And then I thought, well, you know, are they in a car and the car broke it down, or what are they doing there? And Barney, of course, had to stop. And then he stops the car, and these men started to come up to the car. They separated. They came up in two groups. And when they started to do that, I got real scared. And the car motor died. The car stalled. And when they started coming up, Barney tried to start the car. He tried to start it, and you know how a motor of a car would just turn over, it won't fire. And he tried to start the car.
He did what?
He tried to start the car, and it won't start. And the men are coming towards us. And I think, well, I can get away from this. If I get the car door open, I can run in the woods and hide. And I'm thinking it, and I just put my hand on the car door and open it. And the men come up, and they open it for me. And they open the car door, and there's not very big men. And there's 1, 2, 3 next to me. And then there's 2 men behind.
I didn't hear that.
2 men. There's the car door, and there's 1, 2, 3 men.
Yeah.
And then there's 1, 2 more behind them.
Yeah.
And one man puts his hand out.
Go on.
I don't know what happened.
Both recalled being separated, subjected to invasive medical examinations on a metal table, hair plucked, nails clipped, skin scraped, needles inserted into various body parts. Betty specifically remembered a long needle inserted into her navel for a pregnancy test. She also reported a conversation with the leader of the beings in English, and under post-hypnotic suggestion, Betty was able to draw a copy of A, yet the sessions undeniably alleviated the Hill's profound anxiety. The physical evidence, while intriguing, remained stubbornly ambiguous. Betty's dress, chemically analyzed, confirmed a biologically derived material on its surface, primarily protein and natural oil, predominantly on the discolored areas, suggesting an external origin. But it didn't scream alien DNA. The shiny concentric circles on the car, which made a compass whirl, were noted, but detailed chemical analysis results beyond that initial observation are not available in the records. Barney's scuffed shoes, the broken binocular strap, the stopped watches, all unexplained, yet not definitive proof of an extraterrestrial encounter. Then there was the star map. Betty's drawing, made under hypnosis, allegedly depicted the major trade routes of the extraterrestrials. In 1968, an amateur astronomer named Marjorie Fish became obsessed with it. Using a 3D model of nearby sun-like stars, she concluded that the map matched the perspective from the double star system of Zeta Ret. Ik U lie, about 39 light-years away. This was huge. It seemed to provide scientific validation. Astronomy magazine even published her findings, inviting debate. But the universe, it seems, doesn't always play along with our theories. Skeptics like Carl Sagan argued it was merely a random alignment of chance points. And in the early 1990s, the European Hipparcos mission provided far more accurate stellar distance data. It revealed that many of the stars in Fish's interpretation were much farther away than previously thought. Even Marjorie Fish herself publicly rejected her original hypothesis. The Zeta Ret Ik U lie incident, as it became known, was scientifically debunked. Yet its shadow still looms large in the lore of alien abduction. For every believer, there's a skeptic, and the Hill case has been dissected by many. One prominent theory is the false memory hypothesis. Psychologists argue that hypnosis, while therapeutically valuable, can encourage the creation of detailed fantasies that become indistinguishable from actual memories. This perspective suggests the abduction narrative, particularly the medical exams, was recovered under hypnosis, but largely reflected Betty's vivid dreams and their shared discussions, rather than objective events. Another significant psychological explanation is sleep paralysis. This occurs when an individual is conscious but unable to move, often accompanied by vivid hallucinations. Symptoms like a heavy weight on the chest, difficulty breathing, floating sensations, flashing lights, and the perception of a menacing presence bear striking resemblances to reported abduction experiences. Carl Sagan himself noted the strong parallels between alien abduction accounts and historical tales of demon abduction, suggesting a common neurological basis. Critics also point to the possibility of misidentification of known objects. The bright light initially observed by the Hills, for instance, was likely the planet Jupiter. And the missing time, a cornerstone of their claim, was reportedly not noticed until weeks after the incident, following questioning by ufologists. The Hills had also taken an indirect route home, which could account for some of the time discrepancy. Even Dr. Benjamin Simon, their psychiatrist, concluded the abduction narrative was a fantasy, based on Betty's dreams, which Barney would have been aware of. It's worth noting that Betty's story itself reportedly changed over time, and in her later years, some investigators questioned her ability to distinguish UFOs from mundane objects like streetlights. Yet, whether you believe them or not, most serious investigators agree that individuals who claim alien contact are sincere in their bell. Yet, whether you believe them or not, most serious investigators agree that individuals who claim alien contact are sincere in their beliefs. Their experiences, regardless of origin, are often deeply traumatic and profoundly impact their lives. More than 60 years later, the Betty and Barney Hill incident continues to fascinate and perplex. Its legacy is undeniable. In 2011, the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources even marked the site of the alleged encounter with a historical marker, acknowledging its cultural significance. Most of Betty Hill's notes, tapes, and artifacts are now preserved in the permanent collection at the University of New Hampshire, her alma mater. The Hill case endures not as a definitively proven alien abduction, but as a foundational narrative in the study of anomalous phenomena and cultural history. It provided a compelling template for countless future abduction stories, shaped the popular image of extraterrestrials, and continues to provoke discussion about the boundaries of human experience, the nature of memory, and the intricate relationship between belief, culture, and the unexplained. Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't what happened on that lonely New Hampshire road, but why this story, above all others, continues to hold such a powerful grip on our collective imagination. The file remains open, the questions linger, and the truth, as always, remains just out of reach. What do you think happened to Betty and Barney Hill? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into the unknown compelling, hit that like button. Subscribe for more investigations into the unexplained, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next case file. Until then, keep your eyes on the road and the skies.